normally senior citizens who join the class, they've heard of the benefits of yoga, but since they can't sit down, they are a little skeptical as to how yoga will help. So they come to the class and normally say, can I do yoga? So what do you have to say for that?
As again, the concept as a teacher, you're going to first tell them about this yam prashamana and samatva as the definition of yoga, and we can always design techniques which are suitable for everybody. So changing this concept that yoga is something which because they would have seen it all on the TV, people standing on their head and then doing concoctions. They think yoga is only asana in complicated bends. That is where we have to change their concept and tell them yoga is bending the mind and not bending the body. So you can even do this much bending and then work on that. So I'll teach you very simple yoga sitting in a chair. You don't want to sit on a chair, you want to lie down in bed, I'll teach you supine yoga. So you go on changing the techniques according to the capacity of the person and see how best you can design that.
I hope that answers your question as to, is there any age limit for starting the yoga or doing yoga? Yoga is for all. You know, one interesting question I think which is there in everybody's mind is about food. Yeah? So nowadays there is so much you hear about this diet, you know, I'm on a fruit diet, or I'm on millet. Nowadays millet has become a fashion. So I have, you know, left all rice and wheat and everything, and I take only millet diet. So I would want Raghuramji to a little more clarify on the aspect of food, because in the shloka that we saw, Krishna says yukta ahara. So what is it that we need to understand as yoga practitioners about food, and how food helps us, gives us the stamina, gives us the energy? So Raghuramji.
A lot of times this food habit has been developed very locally, and people get adjusted to that in a local way. And our people, ancient time onwards, from ancient time, they have always been doing a research and then evolved this particular process. Otherwise, it would not have been overnight developed all these things. Or you look at one very important thing about our culture is that no food is developed by imitating somebody else. Today, of course, we have all pizza and all that which comes from. In fact, one very nice thing is that in Bangalore, any restaurant you go, we go for gobi manchuri, right? I was in Manchuria and I asked, do they have anything like that? They said, we never heard about it. In Manchuria, they don't have it. Like that, imitation food. Real kind of food, or the what kind of food is that which is developed locally, evolved from the local people, and then therefore basically that people survived healthily and happy. We never have any history in any part of the country where people suffered from chronically with some kind of problem or the other, which is based on the food. Only recently that we hear there is some water contamination that happened because of that, and some areas suffered. But other than that, all the food that is developed locally, in my view, is supposed to be a proper balanced kind of a food. So we should be able to accept it. And particularly in this area, in the arid area, like in places where there is a lot of millet that is developed naturally. But whereas Andhra is a place which is supposed to be a bowl of rice that they said. Don't think of millet in the Andhra. So like that, what happens is that locally all these things are developed. They are very fine. But all that what is required is that when it is divided, the hunger and the food, they are divided. That means to say, food for the sake of hunger. This is the idea. And in fact, the way that Upanishad talks about it, Annavan annado bhavati. That means to say, the hunger, food belongs to hunger. Food does not belong to looks nice. Food does not belong to that, yeah, I don't know whether tomorrow I'll get the same food or not. Don't go by all those things. Then the right kind of food is that food which you really give it for the hunger, not for your desire. Mind also wants food, but then body also wants food. Let's take care of body wanting food. Beyond that, let's not go for that. One aspect of it. Second thing is, the stomach, as much as that you give the food, it works, but at the same time, stomach also requires its own rest. There is a activity, karma, and there is a karma also. The stomach needs that, so that it's prepared for the next day. But then some houses I see that they get up in the morning, coffee with a biscuit, and followed by the big breakfast, then followed by some fruit. And by the time you finish that, something to munch, and then something else is going on. Stomach looks at you and says, what is this? Huh? My duty is 24-hour duty. That should not happen. That is way, if you follow it, that's right kind of a food. Let us try to bring back whatever that has been there in our culture, the way that our people have developed. Let's try to work on that. I think that's the right kind of a food that we take, rather than this is okay, this is not okay, this is right, this is not right, and all those things. Let's not go by those numbers.